Hello and welcome to Let's Talk About, Trinity United Church Legon platform for discussing issues of life. On YouTube and Facebook, the handle, as always, is Trinity United Church Legon. Now, what's in a name? That's what we started from last week with Reverend Dr. Martin Edu-Obing, the minister in charge of Trinity United Church. Today, we're expanding it a little onto the Ga names and then the Ewe names. And with Reverend Dr. Martin Edu-Obing to help us in the Ga area is Mr. Kwabna Edmond Bote. Yes, he's on my extreme left. And then on the left of Reverend Dr. Martin Edu-Obing is Mr. Eche Agbeme Biase. Yes, to help us in the effort. Did I get it right? Yeah, you get it. Okay, thank you so much. Yes, but to continue from last week, I think it would be right for us to go back to Reverend Martin Edu-Obing to bring us a bit into what we did last week, and then we'll continue from that point. Osefo.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Last week, we tried to emphasize the fact that when we go into the Bible, most of the people in the Bible had only one name: Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. So that is something that pertained to their culture. We also came to realize that names give us an identity, and it's a source of documentation. It enables a particular family to have a name which is able to tell about their history. We also drew our attention to the fact that what we normally call Christian names were normally given when people were christened into the church. So christening is completely different from naming ceremony.
That's identifying the child with the body
of Christ.
Okay.
So naming ceremony is to identify the child with the family or the tribe from which he or she comes. And we also indicated that there are a number of names in our various ethnic groupings that are really equivalent to what we have in the Bible. But sometimes people are quick to throw away their ethnic names and rather think that instead of being called Patience, they could, if they were Aves, they could easily find an equivalent of patience in the Ave language and use that and feel very comfortable that they have been christened. Rather than go for Rose, Victoria, White, these names really are names that are not very peculiar to our culture. And we came to the point that we were emphasizing that in all these, we must always appreciate the fact that names give us an identity. And for us as Ghanaians, sometimes you find that one person will not have just a name. There is a day of birth, there is a name for it. So Kwame, Kwadwo, Efua, these are names that are linked to the date on which the person was born. There are names that are given as a result of where the person falls. Maybe a firstborn son will have a name, Baako. The second will be called Menu, and so on. And there are similar things in the various ethnic groupings. We also made the point that the name that we are given at our naming ceremony when we are initiated is our name. So if you add your father's name or you get married and you add your husband's name, you still have a name. Unfortunately, sometimes we push that name into the box and keep using the Christian names or the first name as our name. So I'm called Martin, But the name by which my grandmother will identify me will be Obing, which I was given. And we need to also appreciate. Somebody asked the question whether there is a need to name somebody after a person. In some cultures, they don't name people after persons. They just give names. But sometimes along the line, by virtue of education and identification, they pick either their father's name or their grandfather's name and add. But the name we are talking about, which identifies one with a family, is the one given to us at the time when we were being initiated into the family.
Oh, okay. Mr. Bote, as also for Martin Ediopin was saying, the Gans, do you have such weekday names?
Yeah, in fact, for we the Gans, like Papa Machobin said, we have six, our naming system is 6. We have 6 naming system, which we consider the day-born name first. So every child that is born has a day-born name. So I remember when we were young, we sing this song. So you come and dance according to the day you were born. So by the end of the day, the child knows which day he or she.
So a Monday born in Ghana will be what?
Monday born in Ghana, if it's a boy, is Kojo.
Oh, just like the Akan?
Yeah.
And Tuesday?
Tuesday is Adua.
Oh, Tuesday?
Sorry, Tuesday. Abla.
Okay.
That is Abla.
Okay, but for the female?
Yeah, for the female.
Okay.
And then the male is Kwabla.
Like you?
Like
you are
you,
Kwabla?
like me.
And how about Wednesday?
Wednesday is Kwashi.
Oh, not Wednesday.
Wednesday, that
Kwaku.
is Ukuada. Kwaku.
Oh, so it's just...
Yes, the tree will say Kweku, but the gun will say Kwaku.
Oh, I see. Now, Mr. Bemebiese, is it the same in the Ebe?
It's similar.
So
it's similar.
A male Monday born would have what name?
Yes, like he said, it's Kwajo.
Yes.
We say ours is Kojo.
Okay, just a little.
A little bit,
variation.
yeah. But it goes with your dialect. So ours is Kojo, and then the Tuesday is Kobla. So where is Kwabla or Kwebna? Ours is Kobla. And then you come to Wednesday, which is Koku. Thursday is Yao. Friday is Kofi. Saturday, yeah.
Kofi.
No, Saturday is Kofi.
Saturday isn't Kwame. Kwame.
Sorry, yeah.
Kwame.
Friday is Kofi.
Yes.
And then Saturday is Komi.
Kwame. How about Sunday?
Komi, but not Komi. If you say Komi, then you are mentioning the Akinke. So it is Komi.
Okay.
Sunday is Koshi.
Okay.
So ours is Ko. So everything is all.
Okay. Okay.
So and ours start
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we hear Kojo, Kwabla, Kwaku, Kwao, which is Thursday.
Yeah.
Kofi, Friday. Kwame. Then we have Kwashi as
Yeah.
Sunday.
Oh, so that's very interesting.
And when it comes to the female of these days, Monday is Ajo, Abla, just in the same line with the guns.
Okay.
So Abla, Aku, Yao. So Yao,
For
that's the
Thursday.
boy for Thursday. But the girl is Yao. Friday is Afi. And then Saturday is Ama. And then the Sunday is Koshiwo.
Koshiwo.
Yes.
Oh, the accounts will have Akusia.
Akwisia.
Okay, Kosiwo.
Yeah, Koshiwo.
Okay. Now, let's, yes, you can send your comments and questions to our social media platforms, Trinity United Church Legon. That's on YouTube and Facebook. As the conversation goes on, please do send your comments or questions if you have any. Now, let's go to, I call it the chronological birth names. The Reverend Dr. Martin Eduobing cited examples as the firstborn, the male, will be Baako. The second male will be Menu. Do you, Gans, do you have the same?
Yeah, we also have the same names. Now, so we call it Fomonato Lo Asafugbe. Fomonato Lo Asafugbe. That is the Syrian names.
Okay.
Now, so the first male born is called Tete.
That's the male.
The male, Tete.
Tete.
And the Sablan, which is the appellation, is Sanshin.
Okay.
So you hear Tete Sanshin.
Okay. And then the second
born is Tete.
Tete.
Then we come to Kwe or Mensah.
That's the third male born.
Third being born. But there's a little bit something here. Now, when you give birth to 2 boys,
That's
in
twins.
that order, no. First born boy, second born boy, and the third born become a girl. It changes or it breaks that system.
Oh, okay.
So if you have 2 boys, that is 30, and then the following 30, and you give birth to a girl, it breaks the naming system. So that girl will be named Chinto.
Chinto?
Yeah. That means the girl has broke the structure.
I see.
The same way when you give birth to a first girl, which is Dede, second born Koko, and then you give birth to a boy. That boy also has break the naming system, the structure. So that boy will also be called Chinto. So Chinto is unisex.
I see.
Chinto is given to a girl or a boy. So when you hear the name Chinto, it means either she comes after 2 boys or he comes after 2 girls.
But of course, you have Mensah, third male born.
Yeah, we have
And then you have
Mensah
Anum
and Kwe.
Nkwe.
Yeah.
But you
So-
have the Anum, the
Yeah,
fifth male born.
The 5th male, either boy or Anum.
Okay.
So you have Anum, which is a 5th born, and you can have boy, also 5th born.
Okay. But how about the sixth born?
6 is Ashai
Oh, okay.
or Ashia. Some people will say Ashia.
Ashia.
Or Ashai. So when you hear Ashai, so to identify it, just try to know the number in 3.
Okay.
You can have Insia.
Yes.
So we have Insia and Ashai. So those who don't want to mention Ashai,
Can take
they
Insia.
mention Insia, which is the same set. Then 7, we have Akron, which is Mkron.
Oh.
So when you hear Akron, it is a 7th born.
Okay.
Then we have Botre,
That's eighth.
8th. Then we have Akron. 9 is Mkron.
Yes, in Chrome.
So you have Akron.
Okay.
Then you have Badu,
Which is 10th born.
which is 10. Then, you know, when you give birth to 10, you celebrate the 10,
Okay.
thinking nothing will come again. Then all of a sudden,
A
out of
pension
joy
baby.
and excitement, then another one come. Then that child is named Odiko,
That's the 11th.
11th. Odiko means just a wave. So it's not planned for.
11th. Also,
Yeah.
is that the same as Duku?
I-
11. Is it
I
Duku?
don't know about
Okay.
that one.
All
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So that is how. So from 7th to 11, it is the same name given to the females.
Oh, okay.
So you hear Badu as a girl, you hear Akron also a girl, you hear Ashon also a girl. But then you come to the girls' Syria, we have Dede, Koko,
Koko.
we have Kai or Mansa. Then we have Fufu, Chocho, which is the 4th born. Then we have Fufu, which is the 5th born. Then you continue. You see those things up to the end.
Mr. Gbemebiase, is it the same in the Bible?
You know, some people have been saying that when a Daman or Gaman grows older, he becomes an Ebe.
Why? Why?
Because they think that they are from the coastal.
Okay.
And we are the fisher folk.
Okay.
The guys are fishmongers, fishermen, and we are also the same from the coastal. So our things are similar. If you look at our dressings, mostly, I don't know whether you come to that, but I want to chip in.
Yeah, okay.
If you want to dress your ceremony as a chief, you wear the white jumper with your kente on and have your anglon, hat around you. They also have another one. I have another one. That is the Evers. We call it Togbenya.
Togbenya.
Yes. I just came from home, else I would have gone home and dressed like that. And so we are similar. We're almost speaking the same English or language. Now, like he said, in Everland, the first boy is Tete. Second boy is Tete.
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 And third?
And third born, at times, what happened is, we go with the clan. First, we go with the clan to name our children. If, like we are, my mother said it's Batao.
Batao.
Batao. And Batao also have their way of naming. Then we have the Blow. A Blow also, when they lost their somebody, they have the blue, the one we put in water when we want to wash our white clothes. They'll mark you. There are some clans, when you die, they need to bury you with cheetah.
What is
cheetah
that?
skin.
Cheetah.
Yeah, cheetah.
Okay, the
At
animal
times-
cheetah.
Yeah, animal cheetah skin.
Okay.
At times lion. At times zebra. Yeah. So it goes with the clan. Now, in order not to confuse you, in Batao or in the Blow is my mother, which eloquently my niece belongs to. The first boy is Tete. But the first girl is Dede. He said Dede.
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 Yeah, but we say Dede.
Dede.
Dede. And then the second girl is Coco. Coco. And then the third girl is Mable, which they call Mamle. The Shy Hills, the Shy Doku, the Gans call it Mamle. And then that is the third girl. Then a boy comes in, and then the name do not even change. It still continue like that. So we have Maku, which we call Madui.
Madui.
Madui in the Everland, Anglo land. And then the last girl is Laje.
Oh.
So this is how our name goes. You know, so the first boy, Tete, second, Tete. It goes on like that. And we also have a name like Apatogbo.
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 What does it mean?
It means that they have given birth to a son and he's dead. Maybe during his or her infance. And then they give birth to another one. It means Apatogbo. It means the owner of the house is back.
Oh, okay.
He's dead and gone, but he's back.
Is that close to Apedo?
No.
That's not close to that one at
No.
all. All right.
Apedo means, should I say, no, not a haunted home, but a left home. A home that is abandoned.
Okay.
Like the paternal and the maternal, nobody's at home. You can see the structures, going old, falling down themselves. There are no generations to even lift them up. That we call Apedo. And those names comes, in fact, in Anglo, our names comes at times by occasions, at times by what happened there, at times by maybe he or she want to tease. Maybe he or she has a fight with the neighbor and then give birth to a child and would like to tease the neighbor, or insult the neighbor indirectly, and will name the child as such.
I see. Yesterday, I think it's not yesterday, last week, Wednesday, I made mention of her name as, I've forgotten, but the meaning that I was told is rubbish dump.
Is what?
Rubbish dump.
Yeah.
Oh,
Adupo.
Adupo.
that's Adupo.
Yeah. And we also have it in Ghana.
Yes.
You have Adupo?
Yeah,
You also
we
have Adupo,
it.
right?
We call it Tumu.
Tumo.
Yeah.
What is Tumo?
Tumbo means refuge
It's
dam.
the same Adupo.
And what is it that gives rise to such names?
Okay,
Yeah.
so I think it's part of the naming system we are looking at. But
Okay.
since this thing has come, let me use that one.
Please use it.
Yeah, so we have what we call Bobalo Agbe.
Bobalo Agbe.
Bobaloi.
Bobaloy.
Bobaloi.
Who are the Bobaloys?
Bobalois are those who they believe that they have lived their life and died and come back to
Oh, the reincarnation
fulfill
thing.
The reincarnation.
the
Okay, all right.
reincarnation. Yeah, so it's a circumstance. So when such occurrence happen, we name the children that stage to bring that thing in mind. So sometimes you hear a name like Boya, Yaka, Bonima, Namoali, Adekabe. Some of the names look funny. which sometimes when you hear, you smile. But it gives certain history.
Okay.
I remember a name, Attention, and excuse me to use that word. The woman named the child Etongbemi. Yeah, that means I'm tired with my virgin or my virginity.
Okay. Yeah.
Because children has come out several times and they are not staying.
Oh, they come and then
They
shortly
die.
afterwards they die.
Yes. So the one that stayed, they named the child like that to bring them that memory.
Okay.
And so we have Tumo. Where from the Tumo, when a child sustains, they will send you to the refuge dam. They will drop you there. They will leave you, and somebody will pick you and bring you home. And so that's why we have that name Tumo. Like the Ewe also have the Adupo Tumo. And normally these children, to identify them, sometimes they have tribal marks on their faces, three like the foul legs. You see 3-3 or 3-3 here. Now that tells you that this child is believed to be someone who has reincarnated.
Oh,
So it brings the history.
okay. So it's not just for the fun of the name.
No, it's not
They have
fun.
meanings
It's
associated
meaning,
with
yes.
them.
In fact, every names like it's saying, you realize that all the names that he's mentioning have a meaning. Everything were like that. We can name a child, in other words, insulting you and your family. We can name a child because something happened that day.
Can you give an example?
Example like Yali.
What's the meaning?
Yali is like the windy kind of water, or rainfall.
Okay.
You know, very stormy. But then, so many years back, more than 100 years ago, you've heard of Azizano.
I'm not hearing.
When you get to Afiadenyigba, getting to Keta, where you see the lake and then the sea, there's a converging point of the sea and the lake. That's where the bridge is. We call it Azizano. That point, that converging point, those days, the river was overflowing. And they were then building a kind of dam to contain it, to contain the overflow. So as they were building it, the water, became so much accumulated and was trying to even wash into the town and wash the lives away. So they had to pave a way. So somebody sacrificed his life. And that man was called Yali. Yali means the wind, the wailing.
Okay, the current.
Kind. Yeah. That is Yali. But Yalichi. So when you say Yalichi, it means that kind of rain, the cat and mouse kind of raining. And very stormy. It peels off the zinc.
Oh, really?
Yeah, very strong. So Yali sacrificed his life and went, then broke that very strong bridge for the water to rush into the dam so that the lives of people can be
preserved.
That is it.
Wow.
He did it. He never took precautions, and he died with it.
Oh.
When the water came, the rush of the water washed him, turned him, whatever, punished him, and killed him there. And that very water rushed into the neighboring towns. And so we found water. Those days I was if I'm not about 6 years. I remember.
And you remember all these?
Yes, I remember. I remember my mother had to carry me in a boat.
Mr. Brother, so you must be a very intelligent man. Right from 6 years old.
And, that was a Yalito. So
Yalito,
it means Yali kind of river that came into town. And you could fish at your door.
Wow. Well, I need to remind you once again that we are live on our social media platforms, and you can send your comments and questions to Trinity United Church Legon, both on YouTube and Facebook. Now, Mr. Bote, the Gans, you seem to have a naming structure for names. It's like it's already there, so you just don't go pick any name anyhow.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
So give us a sense of the structure, the naming structure.
Yeah, so like I said, we have the day-born name, we have the serial name, then we have the family names, then we have the twin name, we have orphan names, and then we have the reincarnation name, which contributed to the 6.
Okay.
Now, every child is identified with the first 3, which is the day-born name, the serial name, and then the family name. For example, I am Bote, firstborn in my family. And so my children will name me, and I will name my father. My father is Botier, but the first...
That's, you will name your children after your father?
Yeah, and my children will name their children after me. So you don't have to go to somebody and ask, what name am I going to give to my child?
So, for instance, your first boy will be what?
My firstborn is Bokete.
Bokete?
Yeah.
The male born?
Yeah.
But how about if it happens to be a girl?
Happen to be a girl. She will be called Botele.
Oh, I see. And it's well laid out.
Yeah, it's well laid out.
There are no two ways about it.
So I have Botele. I have Bokete. Bokete has given birth. And his first son is Bote. And I want to just cap something from where our brother started. Yeah.
Mr. Graham, yes.
Yeah. I grew up with a certain name that I changed, and today I have regretted.
What was the name?
Now, my name then was Kwemoami.
Kwamwami.
Look at them.
Hey.
Now, the early 60s, there was a very tribal war between Nua, between the chiefs, and then those they think they were people who came to meet them. And in those days, it was serious. And so it was that time I was born. And so my mother comes from the chief side, and my father comes from, so we have the Sanshi and the Amanfa. So my mother comes from Sanshi, from the royal family, and then my father comes from Amanfa. Now, there was this struggle. So when my mother became pregnant and I was born, it's like there were no unity between the family. So my grandmother said, okay, we'll name the child Kwemoami.
Look at them.
Let's wait and look at what they are going to do. I grew up and I didn't...
So like, just to watch them?
Yeah, watch them. You see, so, but when I grew up, this my grandmother who has stayed with them, all of them died, so I don't have the time to ask. So I changed the name.
I see. But now you understand.
No, I understand.
Are you trying to get it back?
Since it's not in any of my documents, it will be difficult.
Okay. So unofficially, it's part of your names now.
Yes.
All right.
And so for the girl child, you need to have these 3 names. If you are not a twin, you are not an orphan, and you are not somebody who you believe you are reincarnated, these 3 names is for you. So I am Tuesday born, Thursday born, I am Kwao. I am Bote first born. And then my father is Botier. But the Kwabla I'm using is my grandfather's name. My grandfather adopted me as one of his children because I'm the first grandson. So I'm writing my grandfather's name.
That's where the Europeans don't understand. They don't understand at all the essences of all the names that we have. So they want to just close it up with one so-called European Christian name and all that. But we'll take a break from here, and then we'll come back. So shortly, we'll be back here again.
With the growing challenges of life in light of both global and domestic development, the Christian is faced with the difficult task of balancing survival within a secular system and at the same time living a Christian life. We need to have frank conversations on the many issues of life through the Christian lens. So, we bring to you Let's Talk About. On Let's Talk About, we talk about health, career, dating, marriage, family, divorce, politics, finance, and all the issues of life that the Christian is confronted with on a daily basis. Join us this and every Wednesday on the YouTube and Facebook pages of Trinity United Church Legon, and let's talk about life as Christians. With the growing challenges of life in light of both global and domestic development, the Christian is faced with the difficult task of balancing survival within a secular system and at the same time living a Christian life that pleases their Maker. It is for this reason that we need to have frank conversations on the many issues of life through the Christian lens. So, we bring to you Let's Talk About. On Let's Talk About, we talk about health, career, dating, marriage, family, divorce, politics, finance, and all the issues of life that the Christian is confronted with on a daily basis. Join us this and every Wednesday on the YouTube and Facebook pages of Trinity United Church Legon, and let's talk about life as Christians.
You are welcome back to Let's Talk About, a platform put together by Trinity United Church Legon to discuss issues of life. What's in the name? We started last week, and Reverend Dr. Martin Eduobing gave us a rundown of what some of the things that we talked about last week. And we'll continue from there with Mr. Bote and Mr. Agbemebiese in the Ga and Ever, respectively, looking at the names, the essence of the names and all that. You can still send in your questions and comments to Trinity United Church Legon, both on YouTube and Facebook. Also, we don't want you to talk too much today,
yes.
But do you have any comments about what Mr. Bote and Mr. Agbemebiese have shared?
Right. Thank you very much. Listening to them, it is very obvious that each person born into an African community, or maybe to be more precise, into the Ghanaian community, must appreciate the value of the names. Because I can foresee, listening to them, that there are some names that we normally will go out into the Bible or onto the computer to look for, when there might be a name in that particular language that reflects that. Just as I said, somebody wants to call the child patience, when there is an Ewe equivalent of patience, or faith, or peace. And so we need always to know the sources and ask. Many times I realize that the young ones don't ask questions. And so they think that they have their rights to name. But there is a documentation taking place. The name helps to identify where one belongs. And interestingly, we are finding that even the Gans and the Eves have some names in common. You know, sometimes the names are rough. And let me tell you this story, just to, I'm told that a man got married to a woman, and he had promised in his heart that when he gives birth, he will name that child after his mother. But the mother's name was not a very interesting name. And so when she gave birth, and the man told her that, this is the name I promised. I told you I'm going to name this first child after my mother. He said, the woman said, no way. I will not allow my daughter to be named after this name. Just a few days before the naming ceremony, the girl died.
Oh.
The first child died. So after that, the woman had a delayed pregnancy. And when some Christians got involved and were praying with her, they asked her whether she had done anything against her mother-in-law. Then she recollected and said yes. So they went as a delegation to plead on her behalf. And when they went, the mother-in-law just fetched water in a calabash. He said, I've forgiven you. So while they were going, she poured it at the back of her heel. The next year, she took seed.
Wow. Why isn't it that coincidental?
Well, this is Africa.
Anyway,
This Africa.
that's very interesting.
This Africa.
So it shows us that names have their worth.
Yes.
And it's not just for the fun of it that people name people, after circumstances, after other people who have done so well to them, who they have benefited so well. In fact, it's important we are doing the discussion to inform all of us that our names are very important. It's not just that you have to pick on a foreign name for the fun of it. No, our names have meanings.
Let me add to what
Do.
you just said.
Yes.
Our names have meanings. And so we need to stick to it and respect it, value it, and use it all the time. It's a tool. Why is it a tool? When you name a son after your grandfather's name is the root of that house.
So grandfather, you mean your father's father?
Yeah, your father's father.
Okay.
Or your forefather's name.
All right.
My forefather's name is Badu, Togbi Badu, a royal.
A 10th one?
No, I mean Togbi Badu, not the third born, but that is his
10th.
name.
10th, Badu?
No, ours is not the 10th.
Okay.
Ours is just Badu.
Badu, okay.
But I think it's a stool name. It's a name he, had himself before he became the chief of the family. And so that Badu gave birth to so many, like Bedama and Co, Mamata and Co. That is our line. And then my father came in as the son of my grandfather. That is Agbambiese is my grandfather. My father is Kobla. So, like he said, my children will bear the name of should bear the name of my father, being their grandfather. I bears the name of my grandfather. But then for us Anglos, we believe in keeping the root name. Which is the Agbamabiese.
What's the meaning of Agbamabiese? I'm sorry.
Agbamabiese means that as much as you are born in this world, it's God who brought you. So you have no right to ask questions of your clan. Who am I? Where am I coming from?
Dr. Agbamabiese, that's the meaning of your name?
Yes.
I see.
Agbamabiese. Men bisa baby afraid. And I say, no. Agbamabiese. So
just
a life without question. Or a life without asking where you are coming from or your clan. So we keep this name so that when you're in Kumasi and you mention Agbamabiese, they know this man is from Anyako or Abolovangonofi.
Oh. Okay.
When you mention Chikata, you can be directed to the house.
And that's what Sophomat Edobin said.
Yes.
The idea of...
the idea of keeping the identity of the family. When you are in America and they say, who are you? You are stranded. Who are you? And you said you are a name like, let's say Rollins. Or you are Ajekum. Ajekums, they are a collective kind of family. People identify them that they stay here. This is where their grandfather lives. So they'll take you to the home. So you don't get lost.
Okay.
Names like Prosper. There are so many Prospers. Happy, lots of happies.
Lucky.
Jibodi, lucky, lots of them. But the name like Kwachi, Agbamabiese, Chikata, Jokoto, name them. They know where you are coming from, and they know the town they come from.
But Mr. Bote, is that true with the gang?
Yeah, it's true with the gang. Like from my preamble, I said I wanted to say that because Doctor mentioned it, I didn't want to go that deep. But we also believe that names are labels and they are symbols. Labels because it will direct you. For example, I met my junior brother in the university having a relationship with a certain lady. And I questioned the lady, she mentioned the name Bole Kwashi. And I said, Bole from Nwa, which client? Then he mentioned Kwashi. Then the Kwashi she mentioned was my grandfather's senior brother.
Oi! Then the marriage is not going to work.
That is it. So you see, it has given a label, so the marriage didn't work.
Correct.
So you see, so our names also give us labels. They speak. They are non-verbal communication. They speak. So like he said, Bole Kwashi. Kwashi from where? It's giving me a message. Okay. So I traced and I realized, oh no, this cannot be. So it's the same thing.
Interesting. Now there's a comment by Ben. Oh, this is Ben Kwabnatete Banfo. That's the full name. I know him so well. Very intriguing. Most Akan names have lost their meanings to the influence of colonialism, pronunciation, and spelling. Also, isn't that right?
Yes, that is true. That is true. Last week I said that sometimes the mistakes are carried on and on and on, like Rachel, will be spelled as Rachel, which is wrong. Michael. So sometimes the pronunciation also causes some changes to take place. And even in our various mother tongues, my name is Obing. You find Obing spelled by some people as Aubynn.
Where from that one?
That's Auburn.
Auburn.
Oh.
So it's been anglicized.
It's been fantasized.
Oh, I see. Mr. Abembiase, we'll come to you on the same issue, but there's a comment by Julius Kwashi. Number 7 in Ga is Ashon. Number 9 is rather Akron. Yes, I think we got that one right along the line. Thank you very much, Julius Kwashi. Yes, Mr. Abembiase, do you sometimes see change in pronunciation and spelling of ever names, as it were, giving away its correct meaning, the name?
Yes.
You have such instances to tell us.
A lot. I'm a graphic designer, editor.
You're a graphic designer?
Cameraman. What they are doing here, that's what I do.
Wow.
Media. And when names are given to me to design posters, you see them giving wrong spellings. And I don't blame them because they can't write the ever, as in with pen and paper. Yeah, so I agree with them. But yes, in pronunciation, in ever, if you're pronouncing a name and you don't raise your tone, the way you modulate it gives it a name. A name like, let's say you want to name something, you want to mention something like Gbogbo.
Gbogbo.
Gbogbo means breath.
Okay.
That's Gbogbo. Gbogbo is your
navel.
Come again?
Navel.
Yes.
Okay.
That's Gbogbo.
Okay.
So you have to be very careful the way you pronounce
the name.
The name. They have the same spelling, but then you need to add the acclamations and all that to it and be very careful. Toma. Toma means in the ear.
Okay.
Toma also means in the earth. So that one depends on what you are saying at that moment before using the word Toma. Achala Toma.
Achala Toma.
Achala Toma. It means that the stick is in the earth.
Okay.
You know? And then something like the water is in the ear. It also can be Achala Toma.
Water.
Water. Achala Toma. Like, you know, you have some little drop of water in your ears, chokes you, and you need to take it out with cotton and so on. So you have to be very careful the way you mention the ever names. Ever names also goes with that.
Because if you do the mispronunciation, you change the meaning of the name completely.
The meaning of the name completely. And then also the letters too. You should be very careful.
There's a name like Agbono Heavy. Sometimes I see the heavy to be an X. X.
Yes, X is because when you go to our phones, shouldn't be X, but it goes like that. The ever alphabet.
Okay.
It's like that.
Like the differentiation sign in math.
Yes.
Okay.
Hair is this way.
Oh, rather.
That's hair.
Yeah. Okay, hair.
Hair.
Agbono Heavy?
Yes.
What's the meaning of that?
Agbono Heavy, it means a living bed.
The living what?
Bed.
Bed?
Yeah.
Ooh. Mr. Botti, have you come across mispronunciation of Ghanaian names that seem to falsify the right meaning?
Yeah. I think.
Give us some examples.
A name like Kwashi.
Kwashi?
Yeah. For the Ga, you know, the spelling is how you hear it. There's nothing like E at the end of the Kwashi.
So how well should you?
So it is KWASHI.
And that's all.
That's all.
Or else with the E to be Kwashi.
If you want to pronounce it that way. So I don't know where they got
that thing from. And these days, funnily enough, people are using English ways of spelling names.
That's what they are doing to their name. The Kwashi like ends with I. But people add E, trying to brothelize this or something. I don't know what they want to do with the name.
Oh, okay.
The same thing as pronunciation with Koshi. Koshi, when you say Koshi, then you are pronouncing the name well.
Okay.
As an everman.
Okay.
But if you say Koshi, right from the SHIE, you are importing it. But in actual fact, you know, let me remove the this and tell you something. You see, Koshi.
Koshi.
Koshi, it means SHI. But if you say Kosi, it's Chaos.
Are they two different names?
Yes.
Kosi and Koshi.
Yeah, no, they're not different, two different names, but they are distorting it. They are brothelizing it
Okay.
with SHI.
Okay.
But it should be SI. So pronounced as Kosi. But we say Koshi, Koshi, Koshi. I mean, that is just an oral
Also for
kind
Martin Obin. There is another also here whose Edu is EDU.
Yes.
But yours is ADU.
Yes.
Are they the same?
Yes, normally the EDU are from the Western, Fanti, or Central. Edu. And sometimes some have it as AIDOO. You know, AIDU. And some also have EDU. Edu. Now, some of the names obviously have links. Now we are seeing that the Gans and Eves have something in common.
Yeah.
In the same way, my name Obing, for example, the Kwapims have Obing, the Kowus have Obing, the Shantis have Obing, the Bruns have Obing, and the Fantis also have Obing.
Obing.
You know, so depending on how people want to pronounce it and spell it, variation comes in.
But the meaning of Edu are all the same.
Well, I don't know what Edu really means, but it's a family name.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Let me also maybe add that I also appreciate that sometimes when we talk about Evis, it is not just one ethnic group. There are, like you keep saying, unless, you know, there are other ethnic groups which form a bigger cluster. Like we have the Akans. Among the Akans, you get various ethnic groupings. Even Ga, I came to learn that those we call Gans, some are from Osu, you know, some are from Tesi, some are from Otubluhum, and they all have different names, and you have to say the Gans, as if they are just one block of ethnic group, which is not so. So some of the Ga names, if you were to tell us, for example, common names with Otubluhum, common names with Osualata, common names with Tesi, we will see that even though they are all Gans, they are having different names that helps identify where they come from.
It's interesting. I've been told that Osu is not Alata, Osu Alata. It's a derogative term that referred to the Nigerians who came in here and sold pepper. So Osu Alata is the pepper seller. Mr. Bode, am I right?
Yeah.
Now here we go, Osu Alata, Osu Alata. Osu Alata. Osu, the Nigerian pepper seller. So for me, if you understand what the name stands for, it makes a lot of difference.
Yeah.
A lot of difference. Now, I'm coming back to Mr. Agbemibiase. Mr. Agbemibiase, there are some names, as you have told us, may seem funny. And some people might think, oh, what a funny name. Last week, I told one of the names to Reverend Dr. Martin Edobing. Like this name that has the meaning of goat has swallowed saliva. Bomita. Can you give us what brought about that name? Bomita, goat has swallowed saliva.
Yeah, that name is not a clan name.
It's not a clan name
at all.
What kind of name is that?
It's one of the funny names.
Okay.
Just a funny name. Some also use that name like as a guy name. It becomes their real name and becomes their surname.
Okay, so it's like a nickname,
It's like a
which
nickname.
came to be a surname.
Yes. That's the meaning. Like Bomita, it means goat has swallowed a saliva. But a lot of people who use that name, we call it a Hanonko. The guy says, when you appear, they said Bomita, it means that goat doesn't eat cake.
Obviously.
Those funny names,
Okay.
you know, a kind of appellation. Yeah, so at times it becomes a surname, which is
But
not right.
it's usually a nickname.
A nickname.
Then there's a Kumoji. They say it's
Kumoji.
road to death. Why would
Yes.
somebody name his child road to death, Kumoji?
Yes, that name mostly comes by kind of cautioning an environment.
Okay.
Like Kumoji, the road of death,
Okay.
or on top of the road of death.
Okay.
So it's like somebody will ask a brother, what is wrong with uncle? And then the answer will be, Ella Kumoji, he's on the way to die.
Oh, he's treading a very,
Yes.
dangerous,
Yes.
road.
He might be driving recklessly, misbehaving in the house. They'll be cautioning him, don't do that. Because they know the end will be a distraction. You will die. Don't do it. You don't listen. Somebody will say, a man will walk in and say, Mirashem, leave him. Ala kumoji.
Ella Kumoji meaning?
Oh,
he's on the way to death.
He's on the way to death. But they know the end result. So it's a kind of warning name. At times, it's a name to caution those around. A name like Amela Oshi.
Amela Oshi.
Amela Oshi. Is it the way I do my hand?
Yes.
Amela Oshi.
Meaning?
It means that, yes, that they have people. The way they are behaving.
Okay.
The way they are behaving is because they have people. Amela Oshi.
Also
And somebody gave birth and named her daughter like that.
Okay.
In other words, to insult the other family.
Oh, really?
Yes. because the husband has been fighting with his family. And always come to report to the wife. This is what my family has done to me, blah, blah, blah. So, a wife who is taking the bitter pill of the husband and then give birth to a daughter and say, Amela Oshi.
Amela Oshi. Oh. Also, sooner or later, we'll be going for a break. But there also are kind names like the Queen, which literally comes across to me like, oh, he's here just to engage in a fight and all that. So after the break, which will be going so very soon, I would ask if some of the things that, some of the names in Akan that could also line up with what Mr. Gwemebiasi was saying. So we'll be back after a short while. Please don't you go away.
With the growing challenges of life in light of both global and domestic development, the Christian is faced with the difficult task of balancing survival within a secular system and at the same time living a Christian life that pleases their Maker. It is for this reason that we need to have frank conversations on the many issues of life through the Christian lens. So, we bring to you Let's Talk About. On Let's Talk About, we talk about health, career, dating, marriage, family, divorce, politics, finance, and all the issues of life that the Christian is confronted with on a daily basis. Join us this and every Wednesday on the YouTube and Facebook pages of Trinity United Church Legon, and let's talk about life as Christians.
You are welcome back again to Let's Talk About, a program put together by Trinity United Church Legon to discuss issues of life. Today we're talking about what's in a name. We've gone across many areas of our names and all that. Also, I think I should come back to you. No, there's a comment by Isaac Mensah Newton. Very insightful discussion. God bless you richly for the education. Thank you very much, Isaac Mensah Newton. Also for Okunini Martin Eduobing. Let's zoom into the naming ceremonies. Yeah, from the Akan area.
Okay. Thank you. Before I come to the Akans, if you go, I also want to give a reference to the Bible.
All right.
Because sometimes people have the impression that these things are not part of us because we have become Christians. When you go into the Bible, you will find various ways by which names are given. Sometimes as a result of the experience of a woman, the woman gives the name.
Not the man.
Not the man. So you find the experience that, for example, Rahel went through in giving birth to Benjamin.
Which is me.
So those are some of the Benoni, Benjamin. The experience of the mother could lead to a name, just as our brother said from the AV line. You can also find situations where the peoples like Isaac, because Sarah laughed. So he's called Isaac. You find Esau comes with very hairy and reddish skin. So Edom or Esau. So some of these names come. There's no naming ceremony. but they just carry the name because to most of the Israelites, or to Israelites, the key component of the ceremony is the circumcision. That is more crucial than giving a name, because the names are not really following any key order. But when we come to the New Testament, we get a little scenario of a naming ceremony when John the Baptist was born. We see a gathering of the people, and they're trying to put the name of their father on John, because at that time, Zacharias has become dumb. And then the mother said, no. He is to be called Johannes, because that is a name that had been given by God as a reason for the work John was going to do. So we really do not see naming ceremonies as we find in our various ethnic groupings. But in our ethnic groupings, you even will find that it varies. And the elements that are used also vary. If you go into some of the cultures, they will use water and liquor. Some will use water and honey. Some will use water and salt water. Some will drop water onto the roof and allow it to fall onto the baby. There are all kinds. Some will use medan. So medan is the guy drink.
The
maize drink.
Oh, okay. The roasted.
So we need to appreciate that. If you take the Ghanaian context, there are differences in the naming ceremony. But if you look at it, the essence is to give identity to the child in the family. You find some will tie some bead on the child's wrists. It has a reason. And so we need to understand, we should ask, why do my people do this?
Yes.
And then be helped to understand. In fact, I wanted to, I can do that now. This is a Ghana document.
Right.
And they have a prayer they pray at the naming ceremony.
So which book is this?
This was written by a Christian, one of the Presbyterian ministers.
Okay.
Christian outdooring and naming ceremony by Reverend Ebenezer Odai Tete.
Okay.
And I'm just going to read the English version. That is the blessing they invoke on the child. It says, greetings, I'll go. Hello, fathers and mothers. Yeah. Hail, hail, hail for fortune. Hail, hail, fortune be ours. May our stools be multiplied. May our brooms be multiplied. We have gathered in unity. Whenever we drill a well, we must get water. When we drink from it, may we be refreshed. May God grant the father long life. May God grant the mother long life. May evil lie behind the baby. May God's light shine ahead of him or her. May there be other siblings after him or her. May he or she live to see them all. Family members may help him in times of need. He came with black hair. He may part with gray hair. A God child speaks only when necessary. He or she must desist from lying. He or she must not steal. He or she must be industrious. He or she must be generous. He or she must respect the father and mother. He or she must come to know God intimately. Hail, fortune be ours. I want Brother Edmond to read the Ga, so that as we listen, we realize that there is nothing devilish about it.
Or as we often put it, demonic.
Demonic. Okay, so please read the Ga so that...
Okay, so this is the Ga version. Tra omanyaba.
Yeah.
Wosen yi ati.
Yeah.
Wobloya yi ati.
Yeah.
Wobolekutu wokpe.
Yeah.
Wojebu wojenuno. Woye wonu wokodiano ajowo.
Yeah.
Boni bale eche yiwala.
Yeah.
Enye yiwala.
Yeah.
Ese tu.
Yeah.
Eyin efan.
Yeah.
Eyi abagboje.
Yeah.
Wekume wonafa ni wongo wofale.
Yeah.
Ese aba hearing. It's a aba hearing. Eko atashi ni eko abani nale. Ike edimba. Ike eyen ate. Gahumile koyo tra dani evuo. Amale. Aju. Ebatun eninde na ni eye. Eyi ni esa na nohe. Ata le atani. Awole awoni. Eba le nyongbo koni nyongbo hun alele. Je wagbe nkome tra Omaniaba.
Yeah.
It sounds to me that accounts for Omaniaba is Omani Yemra.
Yes.
Yeah. Omani means goodwill.
Yeah.
So why sometimes we quarrel and you say he's a guy, she is a this, and she said that. We seem to.
And you
Yes,
know,
okay.
funny thing. The word yao, it should be well with us.
Okay.
So when we are the response is not yao.
That's what?
It is yao.
Meow.
Okay. It should be well with us. So all that we are saying that it should be well with us.
Amen.
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 Woman, hey, me too, I know small
So
down.
I don't know why when we are saying these prayers, Christians will be quiet and they will not
They
respond.
say it's demonic. Some of them say it's demonic. Mr. Bumbebi, I say, does that sound
Yes.
notable bell in some of the airway communities with what we have shared? Can
Yes. In fact, I'm glad this thing is going on because pouring of libation, people say it's evil.
That's why it's another topic.
They said it's evil. And it is when an urban man, especially the Anglo man is pouring libation, that he says all these beautiful things in the book, wishing all well for the baby, asking enlargement of his or her coastal, blessings should follow his or her generation, wherever she will step. May she have favor, may it be well with her. A whole lot of things that we say when we hold the calabash. Before we pour the calabash, we pour the water on the ground. These things are said unto the child.
You know why I'm saying I did? Because I see the similarities to be so many.
Yes.
Some of the ideas that we have as wrong, that we ascribe to these things, are neither here nor there. Please listen to Mr. Kingsley Neti. He says it's a good discussion and I'm learning a lot. Thanks to your panelists. Well done. And God bless you.
Thank you.
Now, in the Bible, also I'm directing this one to you. It is said that King David got to a very hard position. He needed water, and somebody, dared and got water from the Philistines and brought to him to drink. And David poured a drink before the Lord. Was that a form of libation?
Yeah, right. Thank you. Well, as you said, libation is another topic in itself.
altogether.
But having brought this, I mean, the word that is used in the context of he pouring, in the true sense, is like pouring libation, to pour out.
So the libation means what? Drink.
Yeah, no, libation is basically a form of prayer.
Okay.
But the word that is used in term is nisek, which carries the idea of pour out. You remember when Jacob also went to sleep at Bethel, and he woke up, he took a stone and poured oil on it. So there has always been this argument as to whether these are, if you look at the word, it carries the idea of pouring out or libation. So people build a lot of theory into it and say that, well, then if David got the water and said, I won't drink it because it is precious to people's lives. These people have sacrificed their lives to get this water for me. So he pours it down. It has a meaning to him in doing that. If you go into the Ewe land, I once had an experience of a church member who died. And we did the service in the house. And when the body was going to be taken out of the house, they mixed corn flour in water. And then they poured libation, and they poured the water with the corn flour ahead of us out of the house.
Meaning what?
Well, maybe our brother might be.
Okay,
So they did that
Let him
before we could take the coffin out of the house. So I was curious and was asking, is this pouring of libation? They didn't use any liquor. It was corn flour in water. And that was what they poured out.
That one, it's they believe that they're going to walk on the hot sun. On the hot.
Who is going to walk on the hot sun?
All of them.
Okay.
Those going to for the burial service.
Okay.
They feel the ground is hot. That's how we welcome the dead home and when he's going out. So they pour this water on the ground, meaning they should walk in, we call it fafa.
Yeah, okay.
They should walk in peace, walk in cold. May the ground not.
So
give you
it's
that.
so symbolic.
Yes. Very, very. And it means you are giving water to the dead and food as the corn flour to go with. So it's all about peace.
Anyway.
Walk in peace.
Sometimes the contents of the words that are used, you see, ascribing certain things to the ancestors and all, that's where I have a bit of a problem. But if it's a dedication to the Almighty God, that's having helped us, done this and that.
Maybe another time we may have to
Yes,
look
we have
at
to
that
look
area
at
of
that again,
libation.
yes.
But just to bring it to this point, you realize that the prayer, what we have read out, is a prayer of blessing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it might be done, as our brother said, with maybe calabash containing some umeda, or water or some other liquor. And that is where the libation component comes.
Right.
But you look at the words that are being invoked, and you find that they are all words of blessing. So we as Christians then, we need to ask ourselves, what will be the alternative? Are we to use the calabash, or I can use the words here in a form of prayer over a child?
So in that case, you pray in the name of Jesus.
Yes.
And that closes everything.
Well, if you want to satisfy your conscience,
All right.
then you pray all these in the name of Jesus.
Also, sorry for the interruption, but what is the essence of the honey, the liquor, and the water?
Right.
Because we seem to share the same.
Yes. Well, water is life.
Okay.
But generally, what I find cutting across is that when water and something else is used, it is to introduce the child into a world of dualism.
All right.
So water and liquor, they might have the same color, but different tastes. And some use honey and water. Basically, you see water, you shouldn't say it is honey. You see honey, don't say it is water. So each of them are interpreted in different contexts. Some say that the honey is for intellect, that a child will be initiated into a place of knowledge and intellect. But it is basically elements for initiation, to help the child come into the world knowing that which is good and that which is evil.
What is becoming interesting then, the timing issue also comes up. So, but just in about 30 seconds, you just round up, Mr. Botti.
Yeah.
30 seconds.
Yeah, so I just want to say that the indigenous people, should be able to educate the Christians, their children, so that they will not run away from this name, because our youth today don't have the meaning. And so those the old people should be able to educate the young, or the young can go to the older people for education, so that they will be identified. Other than that, you will stay in your own land, but you are an alien.
Mr. Gomebia said, do you share his thoughts?
Yes, I do, seriously. And to add to that, let us identify our roots by getting closer to the elderly. They should be humble to learn from them and practice them. It is not evil. And then I also want to caution the young ones over there who have their elderly fathers and mothers dying. When they die and the elderly want to, at home want to pour libation, they want to appease the gods, they want to kind of pour libation for them and so on, they always end up stopping them.
The antagonism in there.
Seriously.
Sometimes they are uncalled for.
Yes.
And brings up all kinds of
and
quarrels.
The way they go about it, very bad, very insulting. Yeah. And then they end up sidelining their own grandfathers, their own grandmothers. And then also they should stick to the local names. The Kweku, the Koshi, the Kwashi, and all that. It's very important. That gives you the identity as a Ghanaian.
Yeah.
Rahel, Joanna, Happy are no names.
Rose, Victoria.
All the names. They are not. And then to add to what Reverend said about the water and then the alcohol, yes, it is to differentiate what alcohol is. You should know water, you should know alcohol. And then water also means to the child, when you are doing the outdooring, that you will not be drowned by water, but water will be life in your life. You drink water and live good.
So the child should live to be able to differentiate what is morally wrong.
What alcohol is
and morally
water.
wrong.
And that's why we give the two.
Okay.
And instead of giving sugar, we give the honey.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So those are the things we do.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Let
Botti.
me
Yes,
just do this quick one by saying that where you are initiated into, when one dies, that is the place permission is sought for your burial.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So it means that you have a family. Wherever you are, when you die, your body goes home.
Is that why they say in Akan, the Busian pays food?
No.
They say that the dead body belongs to the family.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This discussion.
And then also, let me warn the couple in the church, especially in the church. When your husband dies, it's not for you.
It's for the family
It's
of
for
the
the family.
husband.
Yeah. When your wife dies, it's not for you. It's for the family.
This is another topic.
Hey, this is another one. I was told this when my daddy died. I was advised, so I kept quiet all throughout the ceremony.
Exactly.
I had my peace. Well, it's been so exciting, insightful, and very, very entertaining sometimes along the line. Well, that's all that we can talk about today on Let's Talk About, Trinity United Church Legon platform for discussion of issues of life. Next week, Wednesday, 7 o'clock, we'll be here.
Yeah.
Bye for now. Also, if you need to say something?
Ash Wednesday.
Ash Wednesday, so we won't be here.
Yes. But it will be telecast live.
Oh, yes. So we will not be on Let's Talk About here next week. It will be Ash Wednesday. So we'll all come to church. Trinity United Church. Thank you very much once again. Mr. Boite, Mr. Gbenbebiase, and also for Martin Edu Oping. Bye.
Thank you.
And have a good night.
With the growing challenges of life in light of both global and domestic development, the Christian is faced with the difficult task of balancing survival within a secular system and at the same time living a Christian life that pleases their Maker. It is for this reason that we need to have frank conversations on the many issues of life through the Christian lens. So, we bring to you Let's Talk About. On Let's Talk About, we talk about health, career, dating, marriage, family, divorce, politics, finance, and all the issues of life that the Christian is confronted with on a daily basis. Join us this and every Wednesday on the YouTube and Facebook page.